This brief video is about step-by-step process of knitting right slanting or right leaning cables. The cables are formed by crossing knit stitches and knitting them out of order. Normally when we knit cables we use contrasting patterns such as reverse stockinette stitch made up of purl stitches on the right side or garter stitch or any other contrasting stitch pattern in order to make the cable stand out. Like you can see in the example here, I've used 6 knit stitches for forming my cable, and then I used purl stitches in between my cables. Typically there are two types of cables, which is a left slanting and a right slanting cable. In my example, the slants are facing to the right, so therefore this is the right slanting cable. In this video, I'm going to show how to knit this type of right slanting cable. So what do we need for knitting cables? Of course, we need a pair of knitting needles, yarn, and a cable needle if you have one. I don't actually have a cable needle, so I'm going to use a pair of circular needles which will help me to hold my crossed stitches. In this example, I'm going to knit 3 cables with 3 purls in between. Therefore, I need 30 stitches for this pattern plus additional stitch either side. So for this example, I'm going to cast on 32 stitches. I'm going to use the long tail cast on method, but you can use any kind of casting on method that you are comfortable or familiar with. So I need 32 stitches. I'm going to go ahead and cast on 32 stitches for the sample. I've got my 32 stitches and I'm ready to start the first row. So the first row is actually going to be on the wrong side. And of course, as this is the wrong side, we need to be mindful what our knits and purls are going to be on the right side. So where we have purls on the right side, there actually are knits on the wrong side. So in my pattern, I need 3 purls followed by 6 knit stitches. So just get my main yarn, not my tail. So therefore, to form my purls on the right side, I need to first knit 3. Then for my actual cable, I need 6 knit stitches. So on the wrong side, these are going to be 6 purl stitches. So now I need 6 purl stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. And again, 3 knit stitches, followed by 6 purl stitches. And repeat the final set. 3 knit stitches, followed by 6 purl stitches. And the final 3 are going to be my knit stitches. And 1 more knit stitch for the edge. I find the very first row is always a little bit tricky to knit because the stitches are still tight from a cast on. So if you're working in a pattern, it might be a good idea to knit a few centimeters of rib stitch and then begin your cable like I've done here in my example. So now turning the needle over to the right side. So on the right side, we knit the stitches as we see them. So first 3 purl stitches and then our knit stitches. And I also purl the last stitch. I'm going to continue knitting on the wrong side and the right side how the pattern is. So on the wrong side I'm going to knit as I see, knit and purl stitches, and the same on the right side. I'm going to knit knits and purls as I see them. Once I've done 6 rows, I'm going to come back and talk about how to cross the stitches to form our cables. So of course purl first 3 stitches, and because this is going to be a right leaning cable, I'm going to remove first 3 stitches onto the spare needle and hold them at the back of my knitting. So I've removed the first 3 stitches onto my spare needle, and I'm going to knit the other 3 stitches. In this place here, I make an increase to allow for better tension, and then I get to my first 3 stitches and also knit them. And here's my first cable. And continue knitting, purling 3 stitches. Then again get into my next set of knit stitches. I'm removing 3, pushing the needle to the back, then push the needle. I'm going to remove 3, push the needle to the back, make an increase, and then knit the first 3 stitches. Then purl 3, So this is the first row of cross and stitches, and it's as simple as this. On the reverse side, straight after we've crossed the stitches, we need to release the increase. Now on the wrong side, again, we knit as we see the stitches. So firstly, the 3 knit stitches, then it's a twisted cable stitches. So if you remember, in the first row of forming the cables, I made an increase. So I'm just going to release this increase, and this will help to have better tension in my cable. And then I'm going to continue 3 purl stitches followed by 3 knit stitches. Then again release the increase. Now I'm going to knit 12 more rows before I make my next set of cross stitches. I've now knitted 14 rows in total from the point where I crossed the stitches here, and I'm now ready to make the next set of twisted stitches. So just like in this row here at the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing again. And here is my cable now fully formed, the section of the cable in between the twists. And then I will repeat the process again. And I continue knitting 14 rows before I make the next set of twisted stitches.